Now, and I'm going to just call on Darren Lee to come up, and he's going to be their spokesman this morning.
You know, I wrestled with addiction since I was 14 years old. When I was 14, I raided my parents' liquor cabinet, just because I wanted to see what it was like to drink alcohol. And it was a huge success. It was a huge success. In fact, I was popular, I was funny, I was happy, and I was at ease, comfortable in my own skin, something that I wasn't familiar with. And I continued to repeat that experiment year after year after year until I got to my late teens, early 20s, and discovered that the very substance that was solving my problems, so I thought, was actually starting to create my problems. And by that time it was too late. I was already addicted to alcohol and other drugs. God has been good to me. I've been sober for many, many years. Until recently, I stumbled and fell back in 2012, and that's why that song was so powerful to me. That's why I'm so inspired by the song. The lyrics, your love never fails, it never gives up. You know, he had his hand on me all the while. And when I fell to crack cocaine and alcohol in 2012, God had his hand on me. And he led me to Teen Challenge at the Tucson Men's Center back in April of last year, where I was surrounded by the love of God through the men of Teen Challenge. And it was there that I rehabilitated. It was there that the obsession to drink and drug was removed. And it was there that I recommitted my life to Jesus Christ. And it was a powerful, life-altering experience that has moved me into a state of confidence and trust in the Lord. And so thank you so much for having us in your house as we minister to you Teen Challenge style.
There's nothing worth more that will ever come close. Nothing can compare. You're our living hope. Your presence, Lord. I've tasted and seen the sweetest of loves, when my heart becomes free and my shame is undone. Your presence, Lord. Holy Spirit, you are welcome here. Come flood this place and fill the atmosphere. Your glory, God, is what our hearts long for. To be overcome by your presence, Lord. Your presence, Lord. There's nothing worth more. There's nothing worth more that will ever come close. Nothing can compare. You're our living hope. Your presence, Lord. I've tasted and seen of the sweetest of loves, when my heart becomes free, my shame is undone. In your presence, Lord. Holy Spirit. Holy Spirit, you are welcome here. Come flood this place and fill the atmosphere. Your glory, God, is what our hearts long for. To be overcome by your presence, Lord. In your presence. your goodness, Lord. Sing Holy Spirit. 'Cause Holy Spirit, you are welcome here. Come flood this place and fill the atmosphere. Your glory, God, is what our hearts long for. To be overcome by your presence, Lord. In your presence, Lord.
Okay. So what I did earlier was I gave my testimony. That's something that we do. That's how we minister across the state of Arizona. We're celebrating 50 years this year. We've had several banquets celebrating 50 years in Arizona. Our executive director, Snow Peabody, has been on tour announcing that good news. And so what we do when we come and do ministry teams is we try and sing and also tell our testimonies of where we've been and what God has done in our lives. So I'd like to introduce some of my buddies here, some of my brothers, that they may give their testimonies. Martin. This is
Hello, how you guys doing? I just want to first of all thank you guys for having us here today. My name is Martin. I'm from Santa Fe, New Mexico. I'm 26 years old. The way I got here to Teen Challenge is I was on. Well, I grew up in a good family. You know, I was brought up in the Catholic Church. I was always kind of like drugged to church, you know, so I kind of knew like basically the Lord and stuff, you know, but I was big into sports, running and basketball. I got to college level in running, you know, I got a full ride scholarship to run cross country, and I ended up getting injured during one of the meets, and so I went to see a doctor and they prescribed me painkillers, and you know, I became really addicted to the painkillers to the point where it got too expensive for me to even afford them anymore because the doctor stopped prescribing them to me. So I ended up shooting heroin. Well, I first smoked heroin or whatever, you know, and opiates just became a big part of my life, and I lost my scholarship. You know, I became really depressed because that was my life, you know, was running and school, and I just became really depressed at that point, and I found myself doing anything possible to get my drugs, you know, and I hurt my family, you know, and they finally told me that I needed to get some help, you know, and I've been to some other rehabs, you know, the 12-step type of rehabs, and that thing didn't work for me because they just give you more prescription drugs to get off the other drugs, and that didn't work for me, you know. Finally, they said, you know, you need to get to, you know, a faith-based program, you know, and I came to Teen Challenge, broken, lost. I was a very lost individual, you know. I had been to many correctional facilities, you know, and at this point I didn't know what to do anymore, so I came to Teen Challenge, and since the moment I walked into this place, I just felt this presence of God being there, just the grace, the love that I got from all these guys here, you know, and it's just been an amazing journey since I've been here. You know, I've been here 6 months now. You know, this is the longest I've been sober since I was 18 years old, and I'm going to be 27, you know, so yeah. It's been awesome, you know. I've felt the Lord more than I have ever felt in my life, you know. Without Him, I wouldn't be able to be doing this right now, you know. I recommend this program if you guys know anybody that is struggling with addiction problems, you know. It's an amazing program, and thank you guys.
Good job, Martin. This is my ace in the hole, Brent.
Well, my name is Brent. I'm from a suburb of Minneapolis, Minnesota, called Maple Grove. Grew up in a church a lot like this called Lord of Life Lutheran Church in Maple Grove, and you know, my childhood was awesome. You know, I had every opportunity a kid could need. to succeed. And I found my identity as an athlete, as a good student, and I can't remember. I could tell you where I was and who I was with the first time I drank, the first time I took pills. A lot like Darren said, it was a success. I loved it. I felt powerful. I felt in control, of my life when I did take alcohol or took pills, and my values shifted almost from that day. I concentrating on getting high or drunk for my junior and senior year. Quit all sports. C's were okay after that. I went to school in Duluth, Minnesota, if you guys know where that is, where it's really overcast, and if you're a depressed person going in there, you're in for a world of hurt. I experienced that up there, and my drinking got worse, and when I was about 24 or 25, my brother, he was an alcoholic, and he decided to come to a place called Teen Challenge in Minneapolis. And about 2 months after he entered, I was like, okay, I always did. I followed my brother in a lot of things, and I followed him in that. And I stayed for about 3 months, and I figured I was all right, and I left. My brother stayed for the whole program, and that was 7 years ago. He's still sober today. And I left, and I went through about 6 years of resentment towards myself, towards God, towards other people. I went in and out of rehab, more so for other people than myself. And I got to a point where I needed help, and I really, to be honest, didn't like Teen Challenge. I didn't want a relationship with God or anything like that, but put in a state of desperation, I came out here, and I decided to give it a try. I tried every medication, every other rehab, and I decided to give God a chance. And the love I was shown in the Tucson Center where I went through changed my life. And I decided to stay, even though the first few weeks were a little rough. I even considered leaving, but I didn't have anywhere to go, to be honest, or else I probably would have left. And I'm happy I didn't have anywhere to go, because I can tell you I don't regret the last 10 and a half months of my life I've been in the program. And, I'm optimistic about my future for the first time in a long time. I got into the University of Arizona. I'm going to go to school there. I live in Tucson, and I had the program to thank, but really, this program's not a whole lot without God, and I thank God every day that I'm where I am. So that's all I got.
Normally my pastor does these ministry teams, and he always says, they don't know who I'm going to pick. It really increases their prayer life. So they don't know who I'm going to pick. It's going to increase their prayer life significantly. This is my huckleberry. This is Matt. Matt works side by side with me in the public relations office. He's one of my key brothers, so we'll hear his testimony.
Morning, family. My name's Matthew. My story is a little bit different than those guys, and what I mean by that is I went to the school of hard knocks. I grew up in a very, very good Catholic family, but what that meant was we only went to church on Easter or Christmas, so to speak. I learned that basically Monday through Saturday I was able to sin. Sunday I could go and confess. But at an early age I realized that all this stuff that I kept within myself, it kept coming out in behavioral issues, and at the age of 13 I became addicted to heroin. And my parents had tried to get some help for me, some counseling and some things like that, and really I believe that they were in denial because I had every opportunity to be successful, but I automatically made left-hand turns. If there was an opportunity presented in front of me, I would go the opposite way of that. I really don't know why. I think that that's something that was just deeply ingrained in me, and I found out early on that the substances foreign to my body, when I would introduce them to myself, I would be free of all that. I instantly had no problems. What happened was I stayed under the influence for so long that those problems never really ceased to come to the surface. And eventually that does happen, and when that did happen, it was obvious to everybody that there was a major problem on their hands. really, I didn't know what the solution was. If I knew that the solution was an intimate relationship with Jesus, I don't know if I would be standing where I am today. But I do thank God every day for the storms, the trials and tribulations that I've been through, because I do know there is power in my testimony and to help other people out. My addiction led to the majority of my 20s. I was incarcerated, and in 2010, while incarcerated, I had 90% liver failure. I'm a very hands-on, tangible person, and this is the first time that I know that the Lord had His hand on me. And the medical is not the best in the penal system, to say the least, and I probably should have been dead. But the Lord put His hand on me. I felt that. I still did live a life of sin, and that's because I could not deny the flesh. For whatever that may be, Satan had his hands on me, and I recently, in 2013, I got out. Since I've been in Teen Challenge, I've been there about 9 months. Since I've been saved, I've had a cure bill of health. I've been washed by the blood of Jesus, and I totally believe that. I do have the paperwork as well saying that. I don't believe in medicine, so to speak. The AA and the NA thing didn't necessarily work for me either, and I'm not saying that it can't. But the answer for me is a relationship with Jesus. And since then, I do have a daughter. She's 5 months old. Her middle name is Grace, simply for what the Lord's provided for me, because if I got what I deserved, I promise you I wouldn't be in front of you guys today. So thanks for having us.
This will be our last song that we do. Would you please stand and honor the Lord with me today? Just worship Him and think about how great He is.
The splendor of the King, robed in majesty, let all the earth rejoice, all the earth rejoice. He wraps Himself in light, and darkness tries to hide. Trembles at His voice, trembles at His voice. How great is our God? Sing with me, how great is our God? All will see how great is our God. And age to age He stands, and time is in His hands, beginning and the end, beginning and the end. The Godhead, three in one, the Father, Spirit, Son, Lion and the Lamb, Lion and the Lamb. How great is our God? Sing with me, how great is our God? And all will see how great is our God. Name above, He's a name above all names, worthy of all praise. My heart will sing, how great is our God.
How great.
How great is our God? Sing with me, how great is our God? All will see how
You may be seated.
You guys ready for another testimony? Yeah. All right.
And I'm going to start off, forgive me because I'm really nervous whenever I do this, but I really like to preach, so there we go. Thank you guys so much for opening up your church. Since we've been in these doors, I noticed that there's a really open heart and a warmth, and it's very inviting, and I thank you because that's the Father's heart. His word says, being in the appearance of a man, Jesus came and he redeemed us. He redeemed this guy from something that he couldn't fix himself of. I had quite a nice childhood growing up. I was an only child. Eventually, my mom caught cancer. My dad fell into sin, and I didn't know how to deal with it. I was 13 years old, and I had nobody to teach me who a man was. And so I found it in drugs. I thought I found it in drugs. It led me down a really dark place, many poor decisions, and unfortunately, God's word holds true. The wages of sin is death, and eventually I tried to commit suicide. And it was there that Jesus met me, because his word also says that he dwells in high and lofty places, but also with the contrite and broken in heart, to revive them. And so I was on a kitchen floor that I asked Jesus, what have I done? And, for the past couple of years, he's been showing me what he's done. And that's the glory of him, and that's the grace that we get to experience in Teen Challenge, is that we're pretty messed up, we're pretty broken. But the God of the universe says that we're worthy of his love. And there's nothing greater that I can stand here and talk about. And so I thank you guys for opening up your church again. I thank you, Pastor, for having us. And with that, I'll stop.
It's my boy Armando.
All right. I just want to thank you again for welcoming us to this church. I really feel the spirit in here. It's a great feeling. So, I don't really know the start, but I guess I'll start just how I got here. I grew up a little bit differently. My mom was 15 when she had me, so a child raising a child, you can imagine it would be a little difficult. And she got with a big known drug dealer here in Phoenix, and he was 10 years older than her, so it really took over my life. I grew into a life of seeing my mom get high and stuff. So growing up around that, it kind of had a big influence on me, and I ended up living in a marijuana farm in Northern California. And so if you can imagine growing around something like that, you're probably going to use. So she was physically abused around me by my stepdad as well, and I ended up getting that when I got a little bit older. So with that, I got taken away by Child Protective Services, and I went to the adoption process, and luckily I had amazing grandparents to help save me from that. And so with that, though, came a lot of depression, and I got prescribed Xanax by the doctors because I was, I had PTSD, supposedly, but no, I don't believe in that, so I got addicted to the Xanax, and I started drinking with it. And so, if you can imagine, I started blacking out, and I liked forgetting about all my problems. And I had a 3.0 in grade average in school, so I did well in my grades, but it wasn't going to get me anywhere if I had this addiction. And I actually got a full ride to ASU, but I kind of wasted that by my addiction. And so I know I needed help when that happened. I lost my job. I was working at a rifle factory. I had a good job. I had a good career going, and I was out on the streets actually because I had to leave my grandmother's, and my mom was out of my life for a few years at this point, and somehow God got it to where I picked up the phone and called my aunt and asked her if she could bring me some food, because I was staying at a friend's house. And she said, well, your mom's looking for you. And I could not believe, my heart dropped because I haven't talked to her in years. Why is my mom looking for me? She said she just wants to help you. She wants to be there for you. And that was when I knew that something was going to happen in my life. And so, long story short, she picked me up, and I worked for her and her new boyfriend. That's a great guy. He's a Catholic, but he's actually changed to Christianity now for me and my mom. And so anyways, I worked for him for 2 months to pay my way into the program. And I got in this program, and God has really impacted my life. No one in my family is Christian, actually. So I'm actually, that's my next step now, is just bringing them into this life and trying to introduce God to them, because he has a great impact in my life. And so I've been in the program for about 8 months now, and my plans are to go back to school now and get my medical degree. But I'm kind of steering into being a counselor now for people who've gone through kind of the stuff I went through. I want to be a Christian counselor so I can introduce God into their lives and show them what he can do. And I'm just very thankful for everything that's happened to me. I couldn't have been here without him and without these people right here. So I just thank you for inviting us, and thank you guys.
Let's see, where's my boy Ray? Ray works with me in public relations. He's another Tucson boy. We came up from Tucson. I was a few months ahead of him, but Ray's got a great testimony.
Hey, God bless you, church. How are you? Well, a little bit of my story. I'm a father of 5. Now that I'm married to a beautiful Proverbs 31 woman, father of 10. I really need this strength from the church and from the faith and what I choose to believe in now. And I'm an overcomer. I was raised in a broken home. I myself am a recovering Catholic as well. Some of these guys, I've overheard their stories, and but what I've noticed is addiction and alcoholism doesn't discriminate who you are, where you're from, your background, or anything like that is. But I also have come to know and have a personal relationship with someone else who doesn't discriminate who you are or where you come from. And I truly believe in that. And Teen Challenge, from what I've been through in life, being raised in a drug dealing home and the stuff that I've gone through, being taken away and put in foster care myself, and what it's taught me is that an overcomer, excuse me, I'm getting nervous up here. An overcomer, for me, is someone who has faith in the one true King, that I am a King's kid that can help me go through anything in life and still come out on the other end okay. And I never knew that before. But I also know God's been there in my life without me knowing. We've had these people that used to come to our house when I was raised, and I was telling a story at the booth to someone about this. I never remembered this. These people would come and do Bible services with us. They were Christians. I don't know what denomination they were. But God, I remembered this, and that let me know that God planted that seed ahead of time. I never knew that. I realized that before. So he's been there carrying me through all that without me realizing it. And those people planted that seed, and it just took Teen Challenge to water it, to bring that back up and to realize that, hey, he's carried me. Now I got a restoration in my marriage. I'm there for my kids, all 10 of them now. And I get to be that father that I was meant to be. A godly man for my wife, and a productive member of society. And I found that with a personal relationship through Christ. Thank you for hearing my story. I'm sorry if I'm rambling on. I got kind of nervous up here. God bless you. Thank you for having us.
All right, this is my brother Justice. Justice and I did not go through the program together, but he's an inspiration to me for sure.
Good morning, church. Thank you for having us. My name's Justice. I'm from Globe, Arizona. I'm 39 years old, and I came from a good family. I didn't have any wants or needs growing up. Everything was there for me. I got introduced to methamphetamines at the age of 15. I went through recovery and stayed sober for 11 years. I was married, had a daughter, and got divorced. And when I got divorced, I had this big empty void in my heart that was left there from my ex-wife and my daughter not being around. So I filled it with something that I knew was going to get me nowhere, but I just wanted to numb the pain that I was going through. So I started using again. And it led me to make some bad choices, and I quit a very good job, and just this downward spiral started. And about a year ago, I got incarcerated, and one of my friends that was in jail with me actually told me to go to Teen Challenge. And by his prayers and my mom and dad and all my family's prayers, here I am. And through that, I hadn't seen my daughter for about 15 months, and I actually got to spend all last weekend with her. And that's by God's grace, you know. And it's just amazing, the restoration, everything that he's doing in my life now. You know, I have a relationship with my family again. Just everything. I mean, it's all because of him, and you just got to give in and just let him work in your heart, and just just do what he wants you to do. And it's amazing, the transformation where I've came from. And I thank you guys for having us again.
Hey, we really appreciate you guys having us at your church. This is the Face of Teen Challenge. We are the Face of Teen Challenge. One of my experiences in the past year doing ministry teams is that afterwards we always have a booth, a table in the back with literature and information about our program. I always get at least half a dozen people saying, well, I have a brother or an uncle or a cousin or a sister, or it's me, you know, that's wrestling with addiction. Teen Challenge works. We boast an 86% success rate after 5 years, and it's the Jesus factor for sure. It's all about that relationship with God. So feel free to come see us at the back table after the service, and we'll give you all the information you need. Thank you guys, and God bless.